Small school football in Arizona has already been underway. Big school football starts this week, but today I've got Cody Cameron with me for this edition of the Recruiting Roundup brought to you by Ortho Arizona, and we're working 2A through 4A. Let's start at 2A because you went to Heritage Academy last week to check out a defensive lineman. What did you see besides a rain delay?
Yeah, we got an hour and a half of rain delay, but I got to meet up with the coaches and talk about this kid who transferred in from California this offseason, Lamario Clayborne, 6'2", 240. He's kind of bounced around a few different schools out in Southern California, but has found a home at Heritage Academy Levine, the Heroes, and first-year head coach Nick Offenberger, and he is a stud. Like I said, 6'2", 240, really strong legs, and he's just an attacker. He sees ball, he gets ball. And he's violent out there, Claudia. I mean, he had a really good game in their first week. It was a big win for that program, but also he was a terror on the defensive side of the ball, just knifing inside tackles, a big time disruptor, hitting quarterbacks or hitting the quarterback, releasing his throws, causing errant throws. So all the things that college coaches like to see, Lamario Clayborne showed, and there was a lot of coaches watching, not just on Twitter, but his highlights. He got offered by NAU a couple weeks ago, and I knew they're keeping high-profile tabs on this kid. He's a really good football player.
Hey, real quick before we move on to the next, what do you want this message to be for other football players that are, in 2A programs thinking like, hey, maybe college football is not going to work out because I'm in a small school? What's the message here?
The message is never take a play off. You never know who's watching, whether that's in person or on social media. Always keeping tabs on your film. Heck, a lot of these high school coaches, they have great contacts and they're always sending out stuff. But never take a play off. You never know what type of impact you can make. And enough really good plays, especially if you never take a play off and you give max effort and you show the speed, you show the toughness. Heck, you could put together a pretty darn good highlight film. And once again, you never know who's watching. So even if you're not in the place, so to speak, never taking that play off is key.
Take notes, everyone. Take notes. All right. Offensive tackle in 3A. Who are we talking about?
An absolute mauler from one of the top programs in the state last season. And I think it's going to be either a top 3 program in 3A. Once again, that's Mojave, senior tackle, Ben Pollock. This kid is a monster, 6'3", 280. And just in the run blocking scheme, him working down, working to the second level, maybe a double team on an edge guy, constantly running his feet, playing through the whistle, and doesn't stop until that defensive player is laying on his back. That's the type of tenacity and toughness you want to see from your offensive lineman. He is really well coached. That Mojave coaching staff is awesome. And they instill that grit and toughness in those kids. And Ben Pollock is one of the best offensive linemen in the entire 3A conference. He got a couple offers here in the offseason. D2 Black Hills State came in recently. Also took a visit to one of our favorite colleges and head coaches, and Coach Cat took a visit to Lake Forest after they offered this spring. But great grades, great frame, huge wingspan, and the toughness you like to see. Ben Pollock, one of the best 3A offensive linemen.
All right, let's move on to 4A. Micah Mountain, who's there?
Micah Mountain has one of the best defensive lines, not just in 4A, Claudia, in the entire state, and that is highlighted by big 6'4", 240 senior Jimmy Leone. Jimmy, when you watch his film, it's like a clinic. I've listed so many different attributes for all these guys, but once again, the violence, the toughness, but he's everywhere. He takes on blocks with aggression, keeping his eyes up. I'm on Zoom, so I can show it hands extended, ripping the offensive tackle down, or a running back trying to max protect, and he attacks the ball carrier with physical and violence. And so Jimmy I watching his tape, Claudia, I kind of get the chills. I'm like, this right here is an impact defensive playmaker in the state. Early offer from ASU, also landed a couple other Division I offers this offseason. New Mexico State came in, Portland State came in, and big frame, violent, keep saying that word violent, but that's what he is. And Micah Mountain is just such an awesome program down in 4A. I really think they're going to make a long run, especially with that defensive line and Jimmy Leone at the throne there.
Cody, before we close out this segment, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. Tell everybody what Thursday and Friday nights look like for you this season.
Oh, man. Thursday broadcasting. Friday, I'll get to watch a little bit of a game, and then I'm at the radio show for the AIA wrap-up show every Friday night, 9:30 to 11:30, 1580 on the dial. You could and then hopefully, I get some sleep in there and get some food. So, busy times, Claudia, but it's a great time for football.
I heard you start to finesse that radio voice there for a second.
You heard that, right? It's just practice makes perfect. So
Okay, well, that does it for this edition of the Recruiting Roundup. For more recruiting news, head to sports360az.com.